But let's talk about Elvis. It's Baz Luhrmann's Elvis movie. It's part biopic, but it's also, I would say that the thing that sold this for me, Austin Butler, by the way, who plays Elvis in this, who also will be playing Fade Rotha in Dune Part 2, which I believe is called Dune 2 Prophet. Austin Butler plays Fade Rotha, and he's incredible. He's a lock to be nominated for Best Actor. A lock. Alan's not even disagreeing with me.
I'm not disagreeing. I mean, I think that whole cast is going to get nominated. Tom Hanks and Olivia DeJonge, I think.
We'll talk about Tom.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Here's what it is. We were talking earlier about Elvis, and I was like, well, why now? Why are they making Elvis now? And I understand the two reasons why you would make an Elvis movie now. When I was a packed crowd Thursday at the AMC Burbank 16, and I'm there, and it's like a lot of kids, and these are a lot of kids who, look, I was too young. Elvis died in August of 1977. I was too young to have ever seen him in concert, but this is for a generation that didn't get to experience the phenomenon that was Elvis the first time around, or have an opportunity to see him in concert live. And what's crazy about it is it's about that. It's sort of like what Baz Luhrmann has done, has recreated the concert experience. This is like seeing Elvis in concert, this movie. Secondly, the story of his life, he was breaking barriers constantly with things he was told, don't do this on stage, and he would just say, I'm gonna do it. This is what the audience wants. And I love that aspect. You saw him struggling with his own identity, like being able to express himself as an artist on stage. And that story is amazing. Also, the story with he and his wife, I thought was incredibly well told. And I have a flaw that
You found a flaw?
I found a flaw. It's 20 minutes too long, easily 20 minutes too long. And every time Tom Hanks is on the scene, he like sucks the air out of the whole thing. I wonder if that's kind of the point. I mean, he plays Colonel Tom Parker, with this guy. He wanted to be called the Colonel, and he micromanaged Elvis's career and kind of made him into this slave to do his whims and to pay off his gambling debts. And it was just horrific to see, like, what he did. And this has been well documented in books and whatnot, all about him. And it's about that struggle of the artist trying to struggle against forces, potentially a corporation maybe, trying to control that artist. And that as a theme, I thought was really well played. I just think the movie could have been 20 minutes shorter. I know a guy who saw a 4-hour cut at a test screening that said that they cut some of the things they cut were like Elvis meeting Nixon, and which is historically really significant. So I'm disappointed. Hopefully there'll be a longer cut of this, but maybe cut down on Tom Hanks. I really just feel he didn't work. If his intention was to be is irritating to Elvis in the movie as irritating to the audience as he was to Elvis in the movie, Baz Luhrmann succeeded. But aside from that, put that aside, strongly recommend Elvis. This is a movie that must be seen in a theater. You cannot see this on like an HBO Max or whatever. Don't wait to see it on a streaming service. Just get to a theater and see this, and see it on the biggest screen like an IMAX or a Dolby Digital for the sound. It's just
sound is important. Sound is absolutely important.
Incredible. Alan, how does my review jibe with your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you for the most part. I'm very torn with this movie. It's funny that you mentioned someone saw a 4-hour cut, because the way that Baz Luhrmann paces this movie, it felt to me like he had a 4-hour movie and just cut out every boring moment in that 4-hour cut, and that's what this was. The movie just moves and moves from scene to scene, story to story, without a single transition. It feels like, there's no time to breathe, and I would say the first half of the movie felt like a long prologue to the life of Elvis. It just, I liken this to, I guess the best way I could say it is, this is a Baz Luhrmann movie. it screams Baz Luhrmann from the way he shoots it, the way he edits it, the sound, the music, the way he incorporates the sound, the music. It's very lyrical as it goes through, and that kind of bothered me in the sense of I'm watching an Elvis movie, but I feel like I'm more watching a Baz Luhrmann movie, and so that said, I'm very torn because I as a kid, I was a fan of Elvis. I like Elvis. I like his music. I do like Baz Luhrmann's style, and I just feel like the mix. I don't feel like the movie's for everybody, and but I think it'll do well. Yeah. I mean, the best way I can say it is it started to bother me after a while, and then it started feeling very long. You mentioned it; they could cut 20 minutes. Yeah, and so I'm kind of giving it a. I'm glad I saw it, and I'm not necessarily looking forward to see it again. The other weird thing is my daughter and a bunch of her friends, they want to see this movie. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if they're going to like this one or not. I don't know if you have any thoughts about I don't know what it is, but young girls want to see this movie for some reason.
Well, look at the audience.
It's the gyrating. I understand. It's the gyrating. That's what
right. They want to see Austin Butler as Elvis. And apparently he's done interviews recently and he can't lose that accent. He was so in character when they were making the film that he's kind of still has that accent. But look, strong recommendation from me. Austin Butler, a lock for Best Actor nomination and actor nominations for other film awards events. And it's flawed. It's long, and that's to be expected. It's long, and but it recreates so many of his iconic concerts. That Christmas special. And the behind the scenes of some of that, which I'd heard about, are really interesting to see, like how it played out. Like, the Christmas special was supposed to be this wholesome event, but it's Elvis, so there's going to be stuff that's maybe not so wholesome. And they had I don't know, it was like Singer sewing machines were like the sponsor of the Christmas special. It's just so bizarre. But
to me, that was the best part of the movie. I really enjoyed that movie.
I thought that was funny. But let's get to your comments about it. Strong recommendation for me. It's a movie you're going to continue to hear about at the end of the year. I'm telling you, it's going to be up for all sorts of awards considerations, and Austin Butler will be attending the Oscars. I don't know who I can say this year necessarily that has where it's like that's a lock for Best Actor, some decent performances, but this is 100% because it's the kind of thing that Hollywood likes. So holy hand grenades. I guess we're getting into spoilers here. Did they include his death? Yes, they do. They do include the not
his entire life.
It's his entire life. Not in graphic detail, but yes, his death. It's nearly birth to death. Hannibal Grimm says, I also agree with Alan. I stepped out for a smoke right at the final 20 minutes. That's great. Shelby AC, I feel like Baz Luhrmann directs movies, music videos. Does Elvis feel like that? Parts of it.
It does. It does. If you're a Baz Luhrmann fan, you're going to love this. It feels like a musical. If you're not into musicals, you may have problems with Elvis.
Fat Elvis says, no auto-tune required. Long live the king. Flaccid Phoenix. Chris Gore is fat suit shaming again. No, I'm not. I'm not. Fat Elvis says, Kurt Russell, Bruce Campbell, Elvis forever. Yes, Bubba Hotep is the movie you're referencing. Hannibal Grimm, I call it now. Butler is the second coming of Travolta.
Can he do action? That's going to be the next
Goober
one.
says, nothing beats Elvis and Bubba Hotep. Oh, yeah, Bruce Campbell. Insane. Kevin Rubio, Elvis died? Hey, I'm sorry, Kevin. It's a spoiler. August of 1977. I remember because that was the summer of Star Wars. I'm sure you remember.
No, I believe they do leave it open to where he may not be dead.
Yeah, Elvis, they're leaving it open to a sequel and an Elvis-connected universe because that's what every studio is buying these days. Akanika, waiting for this review before taking my time to see it. I recommend seeing it. Just know it's going to be long. So I think I took 2 bathroom breaks. So there you go. Chris Allen, the paranoia scene. We hit 44K. Thank you for that. Those who have not subscribed, and more people keep coming in, smash that like button so this video gets recommended. We appreciate that. TGIF, Chris and Alan says, Fat Elvis, glad to have you here. Goldstone, is it you singing the Film Threat theme song? No, it's actually It's someone I hired on Fiverr, believe it or not. Go to Fiverr with 2Rs.com. You can hire people for creative services, including music, which is great. Cardinal Sin for $9.99 with a super sticker. Thank you, Cardinal Sin, for all your support.
Thank you.
I want to do a special stream where Cardinal Sin sent me a box of old issues of films, including issues I don't have, and I'm going to sign them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a live stream where I sign them and then talk about each issue. So, and Goldstone says, love this channel. So there you go.